Like any other technology, there are some plus and minuses of virtualization too. You have to be aware about some of the challenges which virtualization brings to table apart from solving a lot of problem. One of the common problem which you may have heard about people when they use virtualization is called noisy neighbors. Obviously, there are mitigations associated with it. Noisy neighbors concept is that you are all staying in same building and you want peace, but at the same time, your neighbor wanted to play flute, or maybe they wanted to have a party, or their dog is barking. Obviously, that is going to create problem for you, and you have to bear with it because you are living into that environment. Obviously, these noisy neighbor in terms of technical things can be controlled. So let's say it may be possible that you have this hardware and on top of it you have three machines running, and machine A is just using 10% of CPU, B is there and C is there. C is using 55% of the CPU and B is using, let's say, 30% of the CPU. Now if this 5C machine starts using more CPU, then it will deprive others from the available CPU. So that is what we mean by a noisy neighbor. Or let's say there is a network card here, physical, which all three machines are using, and C starts a lot of network traffic, and that can affect the performance of machine A and B. So that can happen. Obviously, there are ways around it, like you can create some isolation through logical settings and configuration to ensure that you do not get into a noisy neighbor problem. But yes, this is something which you may encounter if you have not properly planned it. Second thing is, like all the software I talked about virtualization layer, you have to manage them. So previously, maybe in your data center, you used to hire your storage admins, you used to hire network engineers, you used to have your server engineers, and now you would be needing one more persona, which is your virtualization engineer, who would maintain this virtualization software. So that is another management overhead which is on you. Obviously, you are maintaining the server's operating system, and now you are maintaining the virtualization software also, so that can create problem. Cost can be another prohibitive factor. There are some punitive licensing from some vendors if you use virtualization, so that you may have to be aware. Now, let's say you are running 100 Windows server, so you are paying cost of that, and maybe now you need to buy the license from VMware or Oracle to run these 100 virtual machines. That is again adding up to your cost. But obviously, benefits are there. That's why companies move to virtualization. And I would say majority of it, or I would say 99% of the data center probably today are running some sort of virtualization. So that can be a one factor you may have to consider, licensing cost, which you have to plan for if you want to go for virtualization. Then in some cases there may be some application who need to access bare metal server, like they require a specific hardware to be exposed to the operating system so they could leverage it without anyone coming in between or no layers in between. So that can happen. There are ways around it, like you want to directly associate a network card or a storage device or maybe a USB or a camera device to virtual machine. That can be done, but yes, it can be prohibitive for some type of hardware which does not support this type of bare metal access. So these are some common challenges which you should be aware, or at least you should know what happens with these. Obviously, when you are using these services into cloud or in a managed way, their service provider would have taken care of all these type of things, but it is good to know all the basic fundamentals. Thank you.